Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode. I'm Donna. This is Brian. As you know, we are doing a podcast on men's mental health awareness.
Unless this is your first video and then you don't know.
Side note, June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. I don't know when.
They're probably going to see this in like December.
That's what I was just going to say. I don't know when you guys are going to see this, but we are recording in June. So I just wanted to make note of that. Men's Mental Health Awareness Day is June 13th. So we actually just passed. With that, I want to talk about the stigma. But before we get into the topic, I want you guys to understand that we're following his story. We're not giving medical advice. It's just his story, his opinions.
From the best I can remember.
It's not really suitable for kids unless you want to watch it with your child. He does have some very vibrant languages. So we'll put it that way. Instead of colorful, they're just vibrant.
Yeah, I curse.
And if you're easily offended,
get over it.
I would say I'm sorry, but I'm not.
Just watch something else. It's not worth it.
If you like what you see, please feel free to subscribe. And as always, any comments are welcomed. Just don't be an ass.
Oh, well, that.
So, with that being said, like I said,
we got all the pleasantries done.
June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. He is right. You'll probably see this in a different month, but
September, October.
The reason why I bring this up is mental health awareness has become more well known the last so many years. And they're now focusing more on men's mental health. I am not saying that women's mental health does not count. Please do not think I am saying that. We decided to do men's mental health because that's what Brian deals with. He is a male. Okay?
It's true.
Could we have done mental health as a whole? We can. But he can't relate to female that are dealing with mental health problems. There are things that are pretty similar, but women's mental health was never looked down as harsh as men's was. You know, the whole theory with men would be, suck it up. Just deal with it. You have to do this. You have to do that. Why is it fair to do that to men and not to women?
There was a long period of time the men, nobody even told them to suck it up because you just didn't bring it up.
So I was actually talking to somebody this past week about that, telling them that we were doing the podcast and everything. And he even said the same thing. He goes, men just bottle it up a lot of times. That they're afraid to talk about it. That's the stigma we want to try to get rid of. You know, one of the things, and I know you're like about it, Jelly Roll song. It's okay not to be okay.
I just don't like I understand. I get the point.
Right.
All. It's just that became a T-shirt and a meme and a thing on, some group that just attached to that and latched on. And when something becomes like that, it just starts to bug me.
But I think his message was great. Like, you might not be all right today, but you're going to get there. Don't ever stop moving forward to getting where you need to be. It's okay if you're suffering with something right now. Try to find the help or try to find someone to listen. I don't care if you're 8 or if you're 80. And that's what I want to talk to you about. You've dealt firsthand with the stigma. Mm-hmm. You were very vocal about your mental health issues, especially now.
I mean, I was fairly vocal at the time. I didn't really know how to handle it, but like my immediate family, like all knew. Now, I don't have a big immediate family, and it's almost non-existent at this point from those days. But
were you open up to telling not strangers, but people that you maybe just met?
I didn't just meet anybody.
When you moved to the other area that you lived in before you started coaching and all them, did all them know, like...
When I got involved with the coaching, did they know? Yeah.
But did they know when you first met them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would always tell everybody pretty much like, okay, I'm just like, not like, hey, nice to meet you. I got panic disorder.
No, it's more
But
like,
once
don't
we,
depend on me because I have panic disorder.
more or less, like this is what I can do and this is what I can't. Or just this is what I can do. So don't expect anything else except for this. Because I can't, I may be able to do it one day and then not be able to do it again for years.
So, with that being said, how receptive were they?
For the most part, like, just kind of took it as like, okay. I mean, you would probably have to talk to them.
No, I want your feedback on it because you're the one it directly affected.
Well, okay, if they said they understood and then went home and went, this guy's a loon.
Okay, no, that's not what I'm saying. How did they treat you after you told them? I guess is what I'm
Oh.
asking.
I was friends with most of them for, a decade.
So you didn't.
I mean, still consider them friends and run into them periodically, but I just don't, a lot of people moved out or went to different places. Like I said, ran into one couple last week or 2 weeks ago. So I had more problems with some family and some people that I had known longer than the new people.
So I guess that's what. So, and could that be because the new people didn't know another side of you?
That's a possibility. I mean,
Okay, so we're going to exclude your brother because we've already dove deep into his issues with that. If you had to pick one other person,
well, I mean, just in case nobody else saw anything, he, again, from my mom told me, which my mom didn't lie, and the way he had treated me shortly after was basically he thought I was just full of shit, just being lazy and didn't want to work. At the time, I was working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. So the fact that I didn't want to work had nothing to do with it. And I had had a job since I was 12.
so aside from him, at that time, who would you say was probably your biggest? I don't want to say non-believer, but the one you had the hardest time with once the panic disorder started?
As far as I'm not believing it, or just not being supportive, or just causing it problems,
Yes.
all of that, be my ex-wife.
So,
And there was literally only 2 other people, that I would consider like in my close circle at that time. And both of those people were very supportive.
so looking back now, and I know we can't change anything from the past and all that, and I'm not bashing anyone by any means. Everyone has the right to their ignorance and all that. So, what?
Glad you weren't bashing anybody.
I'm not. It's ignorance is not knowing better. So, hey, you know me. I'm really honest. It is what it is. If you had people, you're close knit that were supportive. If you could say something now to that person then, with the changes that you've gone through and people accepting you and everything, what would it be?
What? Say that again.
If you could go back, knowing what you know now,
Right.
and how people were supportive and people have become supportive, if you can go back to that person at that time,
The ones who weren't.
yes, what would you say to them?
I'm probably the wrong person to ask that, because once somebody is gone, they're gone, and I don't care.
We're excluding your brother.
Goes for her as well.
I understand that, but I'm saying the reason why I'm asking this is I want people to understand that it's okay to voice your frustration, your
Well, I mean, going back, like, there's that saying about hating people. The
It
ones
takes
who
more energy to hate than it does to ignore.
the ones who know don't care, and the ones who don't. So it's not making a difference. It's not like affecting anybody. So I don't know that going back and saying, "Told you so."
No, that's not. I'm not saying told you so. Or all right. How about all right? Let me rephrase it. If you can go back now and tell them how that made you feel,
I still think that falls along the same lines. I don't think they're going to give a shit. I don't. I don't know. I mean,
even
going back
20 years.
Going back then, they had their minds made up, so they're not. That's not going to change. Probably now, it probably would be different. Or 10 years ago, or 15 years, it may have been different. Because if you think I kept this up for 33 years as an act, you're giving me way too much credit, because I've never been able to stick with anything for that long. 3 years, 3 months. I have trouble sticking with anything for very long at all.
Okay, so I guess my whole thing would be, they say.
I mean, yeah. Anger comes to mind.
Why?
Just for the fact that you thought I was full of shit, or it just was disrupting your life. Which I've told people, like, if you think it's disrupting your life, imagine what it's doing to mine.
So you just made a huge. Okay, so that, I think that goes to what I'm trying to say. During those times, you were. I'm not saying you kept quiet, but you kept to yourself because in the beginning you didn't understand it.
Yeah, I was, for a lack of a better term, I was dealing with my own shit. Like, I was more worried about just trying to get to the next day than what somebody was thinking. Like, a lot of that stuff, I'd say, didn't set in until maybe a year or two later.
And at any point did you voice your concerns to the people that weren't supportive?
Yeah, I had said shit to my brother, like, before we stopped talking. I think it fell on deaf ears.
Probably.
Yeah. The other one, she said later on, like, down the road, that, yeah, she didn't understand it and could have done better or something like that. And, I guess more or less apologized. I don't know.
And at that point, that falls on deaf ears to you.
Yeah, it's
Too little, too late.
when you know you're telling the truth, and you know that the shit's happening and people don't believe you, but then 10 years down the road go, oh, sorry, I don't care anymore.
So for 10 years, you treated me like a piece of crap because you didn't want to learn about it.
I wouldn't say a piece of crap, but just, not. I don't know really how to explain that one.
I guess my thing is, and you've heard me say this tons of times, I've always said mental illness is no different than having diabetes, having COPD, having cardiac problems.
And that's, again, you're also coming at it from a different angle.
How so?
Oh, you've been in the medical field for, what, 30 years?
Yeah, but I think anyone.
But if you've never dealt with it.
But I did. I did.
No, I'm saying.
Oh, yes. I dealt with it before
Right.
I worked in the field.
So if somebody else has never been around anybody that's openly said it, or they knew about it, or whatever, then I'm not letting people off the hook, but I understand where either the hesitation, the ignorance, the like what's going on, not understanding. I get where that comes from.
All right,
'Cause
flip the switch.
I can't say that I would have been any better.
Flip the switch, though. And I'll give you an example. If somebody said to you, say it was reversed and it was your ex that had the problem, would you have tried to learn about it?
I don't know. I knew that's where you were going, but again, for me to go back 33 years when I was 23 and try to think of how I would have handled something, I wasn't handling a whole lot of things all that well at that time.
Because of what you were going through, though.
No, even before that. I mean, yeah, I was just working all the time, but I was still immature and irresponsible. I took care of my family, financially, but I don't know if I did a whole lot besides that.
But as we've learned, that could be leading up to the anxiety and the panic.
I'm just saying.
Right. I see where you're coming from.
Regardless of that, just act like I never had that. If that happened to her, I can't tell you what I would have done. I may have went, yeah, this is nuts. I'm out. I didn't sign up for this shit.
Okay.
Which I've told you. And I've told everybody else. And that's friends, people that I've been in relationships with. At any point that you get tired of it or can't handle it, just let me know. Say that. And we just walk away friends. And don't sit there and stew on it for a couple of years.
Right.
And then decide that it's pissing you off.
So I guess it's too late for me then. No, I get that, but I know you now. So when we got together, we both put everything on the table.
You know me now.
Right, but hold on.
93 was different.
Let me go back. We put everything on the table.
Mm-hmm.
I came to you with some messed up stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing you did, though, was what? His memory is horrible. You researched it. You became knowledgeable.
Oh, well, and again, that's at 46, not 23.
I understand that. It might not have been age. It may have been the fact that you went through something that nobody knew about. So instead of being ignorant about it, it could be either.
I would love to say that, yeah, that's it.
Right. You just don't.
I don't
right.
know.
But I guess my thing is.
And I was genuinely curious of your blood disorder and what made it so dangerous and why it was, this, that. So, yeah, I mean, I know a lot about it now. Obviously, I'd never heard of it before.
Right. And
along with mine until 22.
And I guess that's my whole thing. If somebody comes to you and you don't know something like...
Well, okay, so you're talking about breaking the stigma. That was the stigma. That was, you didn't, especially as a man, you didn't talk about it. And oddly enough, like my best friend, his dad, his mom, my mom, definitely those four, because I worked at my friend's pizza shop.
Right.
So I was around his parents. Plus I'd known him since 85. So real close with his parents. And oddly enough, like they were way more supportive than anybody else. And now they're, his parents were from Greece, and his dad was a big, manly dude. Didn't take shit from nobody, and you would think...
He was the biggest sweetheart, though.
Oh, he was awesome. But you would think he would be the first one to go. And he's the one that recognized that there was something wrong. That the day that it happened, he was the one that recognized it and was like over the top cool about just go home, take care of yourself. And even when I was coming and going, they were cool with me as far as work when you can, stay home when you can't. Like,
So,
it's fine. We get it. Just try to take care of yourself. And to this day, my best friend, Dino, who I actually talked to, was, he was interested in, not like in a cool way, but, interested in what the hell was going on. Because I feel like he genuinely gave a shit.
so I'm going to ask something, and again, this is just a question, and I'm not trying to cause any ruckus. They did not have any financial gain from you.
No, yeah, and they didn't have to live with me either.
That was the next part. But no, I'm going to correct you on that one because you said your mom too. You could have went back at home, and I don't think it would have changed with your mom.
I was there for 3 months from 95. In 95, I was there for June, July, and August of 95. So, but yeah, your mom, especially my mom, no, I don't know that there's anything I could have done that she would have been like.
So, could there have been? Again, I'm purely asking questions.
Well, if I see where you're going with the financial gain, but if you're with me for a financial gain, you fucked up.
No, because prior to that, it wasn't an issue.
But it's still
And I'm not saying financial gain, but I'm saying you were the one that was the provider, the one supposed to be taking care of everything.
For that period of time,
right.
Everything was very comfortable. There was there was no financial worries at all.
So
there was.
Instead of looking...
As weird as it sounded, there was more money coming in than I could spend at that time.
So
not making millions, but a 23-year-old and you're making $2,000 a week in cash is pretty good.
Right. So I'm saying, is it maybe the fear of not wanting to recognize it so you would stop and go back to your old you?
You're asking the wrong person.
That's what I mean. Like,
I don't know. I can't answer that.
So for somebody to sit there and say, I don't understand it.
That may have been in the beginning, and then as time went on, things changed. I don't know.
Yeah, so it's
not like she split, which, again, I still would have understood. Because I've been that way with everybody. Friends, family, relationships. Again, if you can't handle it or it's just too much, it's not what you thought, you didn't sign up for that, whatever.
You told her that back then?
Yeah. I told her multiple times, like, just take the kids and go, like, I get it. And not for selfish reasons, just it'd probably be better off for everybody to not be around me.
She opted not to, then why bitch when stuff was going wrong?
Again, you're asking the wrong
right,
person.
And I'll never get the chance. So that's why.
That's for sure.
So that's.
We would like to have guests at some point, but that won't be one of them.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand. We just had a conversation with somebody today. If they had a problem in the beginning.
Oh.
Why did they continue to move forward and then bitch about it? I don't understand why people do that.
And they're the people that you have to ask because I can't answer that one.
Now, if somebody...
There could be a dozen reasons.
Yeah, and I don't think any of them are valid.
And I'll tell you, one of the reasons that I could actually understand is you have a low self-worth, so you just stay in it. For the longest period of time was that way.
And you know my take on that. We've talked about that before.
Oh, I'm not that way now.
Yeah, no.
But for the longest time I was, where it was like, well, I'm not going to be able to do any better. I'll just stay. No matter how bad this is, it's better than being alone. And then I learned, no, it's not. Being alone is better than being in a crap relationship.
And what is my saying?
You have a whole bunch of them. The Willy Wonka one?
No.
The lid, every trash can has a lid?
Every trash can has a perfect lid. And I don't. I'm not saying it. I'm not calling him a trash can. It just means that they're.
You aren't the only one who just thought that. Because I was like, was I the lid or the trash can?
He's the can, but I'm saying there's a perfect person for everybody. You might not meet them when you're 20, when you're 30, when you're 40, but eventually you will meet that perfect person. And
or maybe you won't, but it's still. Some people are going to disagree, and that's fine. But it took me a few tries, even after I was, that relationship was completely over. Had some, 6-month relationships that, just crashed and burned. It took me to, like, even before we got together, where I was just like, I don't need to be with somebody. Like, I want to be with somebody, but I don't need to. And I want to be with somebody who is on my same mindset, somewhat maturity level. It's hard to find anybody on that level. No, that was not an insult, because I said close to it.
I don't know where he's going with that one, but anyway, we're going to move on from that. I just think that if you're with somebody and they have something going on, whether it's mental health, and again, to me, mental health is no different than diabetes. Am I going to sit there and say, how dare you have jacked up sugars? I don't want to be with you. No.
I think a lot of it was, I guess you could say that, the panic disorder, while you can't, you could see it. So it wasn't like I was hiding it. You could see it.
So
but, I'm trying to think of like another illness that you could say, just, some form of cancer where you're going through chemo and radiation and surgeries, and you're just in and out of the hospital. Your life has now been flipped upside down. And you can't do almost anything that you could prior. Now, you may get there at some point if you go into remission and, you go cancer-free, God willing.
I have a argument to that, though. You're walking across the street, you get smacked by a SEPTA bus. You're paralyzed now, and
you know how many husband and wives have walked away from their relationships because of that?
I get that. I just then it's not love.
I'm not saying it is or it isn't. I'm just saying
I've seen
shit
people
changes.
And I've seen people stay by somebody through horrendous things. I think if it's love, and you are supposed to love your spouse or the person you're with unconditionally, the same way you love your children. It's unconditional. Within reason. I mean, you go and kill somebody, it's done.
Yeah, it's not the same as your kids or whatever, but...
Like, if I got hit by a SEPTA bus, would you just leave?
Well, how big's the settlement?
And there is no settlement. It was my mistake.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah. This will be our last podcast. No, but do you see what I'm saying? Like, I guess that's my issue.
No,
you didn't sign up for it.
That thought wouldn't even cross my mind to be like, geez, I don't know if I want to have to deal with this. Like, it would just be how to deal with it.
Right.
Not
you adapt.
Am I going to deal with it? Because, I mean, we've had to adapt a few times over the past few years.
Yeah.
To things changing. So, and I don't, honestly, in our case, I think the relationship keeps getting better.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned.
But that's what I mean. Like, you didn't plan the panic disorder. You didn't sit there and write in a book that on this date, my life's going to change forever.
Depends on who you talk to.
But, well, then they're asses.
Well, I'm not arguing, though.
But I'm saying, like, you didn't plan on this. It just came out of nowhere. It probably was stirring for years. Yes, we already discussed that. But so why would someone sit there and say, almost discard you, like, put you out with the trash because something's wrong? Or even if they didn't discard you, not treat you the same as they did prior?
Can't answer it.
And these are the things that, and this is why the stigma is there. It's because people don't want to open their minds.
There's still, to this day, it's not, is it better today than it was in 93? Yeah, it was better in 93 than it was in 63 or 53 or, whatever. So, I mean, it keeps getting better, but it's still not anywhere where it should be, or there wouldn't be the number of suicides that there are.
I tell my students all the time, if you're in a room with 10 people, 8 out of those 10 people are probably on some type of antidepressant or anti-anxiety medication.
That's not a good thing.
It's not a good thing, but it does show you that, and it could be a CEO of a company. It could be somebody who cleans the toilets.
I got to disagree with this a little bit, because not everybody that's on it needs to be on it.
I'm talking.
We also know that.
I'm talking for medical. I'm not talking for recreational use.
No, I'm saying there's people that get prescribed antidepressants or anti-anxiety that don't need them.
And I'm talking about the ones who legitimately need them. Yeah, I'm talking about them. And it's because depression and anxiety, they present in different ways in different people. Mm-hmm. You can see somebody, and you say to me all the time how strong I am and how determined I am, and how, does that mean I don't have days where everything's getting to me and the
difference is, do I think you've ever had anxiety? Yes. But it's never stopped you. That's the difference between me and you.
And I think that goes to it doesn't mean I'm a better person than you by any means. I just think it's because my mindset is so determined that I can't let it stop me, because of I'm a single mom. I had to do so much. I had my parents, trust me, and my younger brother. They were amazing. But I think that was the difference where, and I'm not saying your case is drastically different, but you had somebody who should have stepped in.
It was definitely different because, if you're looking at home life, my brother decided that, that's your problem. I don't even believe in it or whatever. My dad, obviously, if you watch any of these episodes, he was gone when I was 9. He was pretty much out of my life by the time I was 14. Or even before that. Yeah, I'm not saying somebody's better or worse. You're just stronger because you're able to, you've said you've never had a panic attack, so you don't know what it feels like.
I've had anxiety attacks, never a panic attack, though.
Right. And there's, I used to say it this way, like an anxiety attack to me is like sneezing, like, please don't bring that to me. But I have changed that way of thinking, because if you've never had an anxiety attack and have one, it's the worst thing that's going on at that moment.
And
so
everyone's
sucks.
is different.
Right. So I backed off of that, and I was like, yeah, that's like a shitty way to think. I should, because if you've never experienced anything negative in your life and you get a flat tire, well, that's the worst thing that's happened to you. So you don't have anything else to go on. So, yeah, I mean, yes, to me, having some anxiety is, I don't even know if I notice it anymore. When you go to the extreme, that one extreme, but.
And I think a lot of it has to do with the hand you're dealt.
I'll still say I could have handled it differently.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm saying, but it still has to do, everyone's dealt a different hand, and how they handle that and how they play that hand they're dealt has a lot to determine what happens as they get older. I say this all the time. You can have a household that has 2 kids. They can be polar opposites, but they were raised in the same house.
Oh, I mean, that's...
It doesn't mean that one is better or worse than the other. You're your individual person. You have to look at that person as that individual person. I look at him and I see him. I don't see somebody who has panic disorder, somebody who has anxiety, somebody who has depression, somebody who constantly overthinks, somebody who's a pain in the ass. That's not what I see. I see him.
Are you sure?
At times. But because any given day, it could be different depending what he's dealing with. I should not label him because of something that happened once.
Actually, you could even say like a part of the day, and then like, because we can bring up, or I can bring up, Friday, we were trying to get your tire fixed.
Yes.
And when they said it was going to be like a 20-minute wait, when you handed them your keys, I started to get nervous. I was like, I think I'm going to walk home. But then you rescheduled and moved stuff around. I don't know if it was for my benefit or just how it was. Came home, and then we ended up out on the bike and driving for 3 hours, and and had a great night. So, I mean, it can switch that quick.
But I think that's the difference. In the almost 10 years that we've been together, I have no problem switching things up because of something you're going through. I have never once said to you, screw you then, just leave, bye. Like, I'm not trying to be funny.
No, I know.
I just don't do that. Okay, okay, no problem. Because if it was reversed, there's been times where we've been out and I've been like, yeah, I just don't feel right. I just want to go home. He doesn't sit there and say, 5 more minutes. Okay, let's go. And then when we go home,
Just turn the car around and go home.
do whatever. Do you sure you feel okay? Do you just want to stay in and hang out? We can just stay in and hang out. So it's a give and take.
That one's a little easier for me.
Because you get it.
Because I know what it feels like. So it's really easy for me to just go, let's just stay home and watch, curl up in bed and watch TV.
But even if I have a migraine or if, like, my knees bothering me, it's anything.
If you're tired and want to go to bed, then, then that's that.
So, I mean, it's give and take. And with the stigma, I think if you're with somebody, even if you're not in a romantic relationship with them, if you're friends with somebody, learn who that learn who that person is.
Learn how to speak first,
and
then move on.
You're really going to make fun of me because, wow, talk about go. Oh, wow.
Were you just not breaking my balls for 30 minutes?
No. Learn about that person, not a label that's associated with them because of a medical thing. It's not fair to them.
The weird thing I always found was with the stigma, I didn't really get it from friends or outside, or new friends or whatever. I got it from the people that I was closest with seemed to be the problem.
And then it goes back to
I don't know
why. What caused?
Well, I'm just curious. Like, I wish, like, when this does come out, if somebody had the opposite and just put that in the comments and like,
yeah,
because I'm curious about that because that's one thing I always like, not that I dwell on it a ton, but I always think about it. Like, you would think the people who maybe didn't know would be the ones that be like, yeah, okay.
So that's why I'm wondering, like, do they feel like because of it, they're losing out on something? I don't understand it. I mean,
yeah, I just never got it. It was just like you knew me for like, obviously, again, not my mom. Yeah, and she didn't understand it at all. And you know what? If you watched, my mom, her mother was...
I think she understood it a little bit more than what you gave her credit for.
Yeah, I mean, her mom, like thinking about it now, her mom had some form of mental illness, whether it was schizophrenia or bipolar or whatever it would be diagnosed at this point, but you're talking about in the 40s and 50s.
Yeah, so I think your mom kind of had some idea.
But still never heard of it, because people back then, like her mom was never diagnosed.
Right.
It's just
But yeah, if you,
so, but everybody else, it seemed like the closer you were, the more of a problem you had with it.
and that's where I go back to what reason?
Maybe it's affecting their lives negatively and they don't like it. Like it was one way, and now because like I've said in the past, in the other episodes we were going through, that day I became somebody else. I ceased to be that Brian and became this one. And to this day, I'm still not who I was prior to December 10th, 93.
But if it only happened on that day and the next day was regular, do you think it would be different?
Yes.
So if it only happened periodically, do you think it would be different?
Yeah. I think because it became a long-term,
It's a chronic condition.
terminal illness, like you're not going to die of it, but you're going to die with it. Like it's not going anywhere.
But you were the one who had it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm aware.
So the ones around you should have rallied up and tried to support rather than kick you down.
Again, that's everybody's choice.
Then don't look back and see.
Some people don't get it, don't want to get it. Think there's people out there that think mental health or mental illness is bullshit. There is no such thing.
Here's my thing. If that is how people feel, and again, I'm not trashing anybody, I'm just brutally honest. If this is the way people feel, then that is on you. Don't bitch that 10, 20, 30 years later, this is how it is now because of your actions back then. They play a role in everything.
I mean, everybody's responsible for their own actions and inactions, whatever.
Right. Every action has a consequence.
I've never blamed anybody for it or...
I'm not saying for your mental illness, but I'm saying...
No, and I've never blamed anybody for the way they handled it. Because I get it.
Oh, you're a better person than I am because I don't.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying I forgave them, or felt like.
In the beginning, I can understand it. That first year, I can understand it. But as it continued, that is when you learn to adapt and figure out the best way to work together instead of.
I guess I just looking at it from my standpoint and how. I understand how difficult it is to live with. Like I can understand somebody having to deal with me because I know what it's like dealing with myself. So I don't hold it against anybody for dipping out or, whatever. Now, you want to go negative and say shit about it or, like my brother's comment or stuff like that, then yeah, I have a problem with it. If you don't believe in it or you don't, whatever, just keep your fucking mouth shut.
Right.
Just don't say anything at all. Like, because you don't want to help, fine, but don't make it worse.
Don't hinder. And I think the stigma has gotten better, but like I said, with this being Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, I think
it gets better every decade, but it's still not anywhere close to where it should be.
No, and I think that's mental health altogether, not just men's mental health.
No.
And I think part of the problem, and I've said this for years, is...
Sorry. Women were always seen as the weaker sex. That through history, that's how it was seen.
Back in the day, yes.
You're right.
Yes.
That's what I said.
Right.
I didn't say me. I said society. Or always.
Society sucks.
Whatever. That's how it was seen. Men were the big, strong providers, go out and hunt, beat something to death, and bring home the food. The wife stayed at home with the kids, did the cooking and the cleaning. That's what
And we are now out of the.
I didn't say now. I'm talking about then.
I get
and in
that.
the 90s, it was still that way.
And
Maybe not in your situation, but I'm saying.
not saying in my situation, but
I'm not saying every single relationship or person felt that way. But as a whole, that's how it was seen. And it was still seen that way in the 90s.
okay, I get that.
Not a lot had changed.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Obviously, now everything's a lot different. Now, I'm just as guilty. That relationship was, I have to go out, and this is why it was so hard on me, was I have to go out and make the money. I have to be the provider, and I wasn't. For a couple years, and then I was back for, working another 8, and then shit went south again. So, I'm part of that stigma because I put it on myself. Because that's how I grew up. Now,
No.
no, I'm saying with people talking like that.
Oh, I was going to say, because your mom provided for you.
Correct.
Right.
But my dad was supposed to. If you went by society's norms, the man was supposed to take care of the family.
Correct, but
Yes, I experienced where that didn't happen. And that's why I had a different outlook towards women than most men. Because of, I think, again, this is just my opinion. I think a lot of guys who were raised by their moms see women a little differently.
how do you see women?
I don't see them as the weaker sex, or I don't see them as, sex symbols, or they're here for a couple of reasons and that's it. They can do everything that men can do, and in most cases, women are a lot smarter. It's just, sorry, that's just my experience.
I tend to agree with them.
I didn't think I was going to get any pushback.
No, I mean, I get what you're saying.
Like, my mom was she was strong, independent, intelligent.
Very.
You're the same way.
For the most part. One thing me and your mom had in common is we're both very hard-headed.
And whatever was on your mind came out of your mouth. Didn't matter who was standing there.
No, and I'm brutally. Here's my thing, and you'll hear me say this a lot during these podcasts. I'm brutally honest. I'm sorry if you have a problem with it. You might not want to ask me. Go ask somebody else.
If you've watched any episodes before this, you'll already know this.
But I don't want somebody to sugarcoat something for me. If I ask them a question, I want the truth. It goes back to A Few Good Men. You can't handle the truth. I can handle the truth. You might not like what I'm going to say, but you're going to hear it anyway.
Yeah, I mean...
But
as far as that whole, how it was looked at, I mean, that's... There's a lot of guys that still look at it that way. There's guys that will just flat out like, yeah, not me. I'm not talking about that, or I'm not... we've watched shows where, like, yeah, you don't say that because then you look like a pussy, or what? And I'll tell you right now, you can probably tell by my hair or my clothes, whatever. I don't care what I look like. If you think I'm a pussy for saying it, that's your opinion, and that's fine.
And if you look at statistics, and I want to get grief on this, but look at the statistics. More men suffer from PTSD than women do. And I'm not just talking wartime. Mm-hmm. And people are going to be like, no, that's not true. It is true. Let's look at the big picture. And if the women start coming at me about rape and all that, I get that. But gangs are 98% men.
I mean, you want to go into professions, police.
I was just going to say police, firefighter. The stuff they see causes PTSD. So more men suffer from PTSD. Now, the flip side is how many of them get help for it? And
not enough.
That's it. Don't be afraid to reach out. like I said, the stigma is slowly starting to dissolve, but you need to keep bringing a voice to it, bringing a face to it. You know, I've lost friends.
Maybe not this phase, but
I've lost friends that were firefighters, that were police, that died at their own hands because they couldn't handle it. It wasn't the job that they couldn't handle, it was things on top of it. So I want you guys to realize that this segment needs to change. Talk. I don't care if you don't have to go to a therapist if you don't want to, but reach out and talk to somebody. Let somebody know, hey, I just need a shoulder to cry on, an ear to listen, anything. A friend of ours on Facebook, who happens to be a police officer, says it all the time. He doesn't care if it's 3 a.m. His line's always open. You know, and just keep that in mind so the stigma starts to slowly go away for good. It'll take years, but as long as men are making strides with it, then we're getting somewhere.
yeah, like I said, it's slowly moving, but there's always going to be that segment, I think, that just, I'm not saying anything. I don't want to look like this to my friends or my family. I'm not. And then they're the ones who end up taking their own lives.
And if they're
And
truly your
that's-
friends,
and that's way worse than telling them that, hey, I'm having trouble dealing with this. I need some help.
because we'd rather hear I'm having trouble, I need help, than attend your funeral. Also, if they are your friends, if they are true friends, they'll be there for you no matter what.
And if you're someone who doesn't suffer from it, try to be a little more understanding or cool about it when somebody does come to you to talk about it. Maybe tell them, let me look it up. Let me do some research, and so I can, talk to you without not knowing what the hell you're talking about.
Don't be afraid to admit you don't know. You don't understand
Yeah.
it. Yeah. That's the one thing. Don't be afraid to say, I don't get it. I don't understand it. But I'm here. Always leave with the I'm here.
I'll be honest. One of the biggest things is just having somebody that is listening. They may not get it or understand it, but they're listening, and you can tell that they're actually they are listening. They're not just hearing you.
They're comprehending what you're saying.
Right. And, maybe just be like, they may have a word here or a word there. Like, for me, that was enough. I didn't need somebody to fix it on the spot. I didn't expect anybody to do that. There was times I got frustrated and be like, well, what the fuck? Like, but that was very rare. Even with you. I mean, there's times where I'm like, and you're just like, I wish there was more I could do to help. And I'm like, well, there's not. I don't know. I don't know. And, I've been dealing with it for 33 years, and I don't know shit. I'll be the first one to admit I still don't know. I don't think I'll ever know. It's just, I think I've gotten to the point now where I finally accepted that this is just who I am. I'm, say stuck, but this is the way it's going to be.
This is your new normal.
I'm not going to go back to 1992 to that person. That person, unfortunately, died.
Ceased to exist.
It just overnight morphed and just became a totally different person. And if you got somebody in your family like that, you just trust me, if it's hard for you, it's way worse on them.
Just be there for them.
It's not knowing who you are the next day or waking up and having no clue what's going on is way worse than
being on the outside.
Being the other person. So,
all right. So just keep what we said in mind. And again, if you have any comments, please leave them. We will respond. And if you like what you hear, subscribe. I know some of these are a little longer than others, but it's important topics that we're going over. So until the next episode, have a great night, and we'll see you next time.